Hey guys, Shinlock's here, back with a new little rambling mini review. This is going to be the System Shock remake, and if you don't watch anything else in the video, do I recommend the game? I'm going to say no. I'm actually going to say no. If I was going to recommend something, I would actually recommend the original. But ultimately, that depends on if you liked the original or not. Because I played the original for the first time a couple of years back, right around 2020. Uh, it is very different than the second one because I played the second one shortly after. So the original System Shock is effectively a. Let's see if this autoplay is the next one. Whatever, it's fine. I'll just play some of these trailers. First System Shock was basically an immersive sim with shooter elements, right? Maybe a little bit of horror, maybe a little bit of survival horror, right? Uh, System Shock 2 was a shooter with inventory management and survival horror elements, right? So it's two very different games, almost different genres. The fact that System Shock 1 was an immersive sim that used shooting in it, as opposed to being a shooter with immersive sim elements, if you will. Right? It's all about which genre gets more prioritized. Um, System Shock 1 felt totally unique to me. System Shock 2 felt like other shooters I had played. It felt like a prototype for Bioshock. Not that that's bad, but for me, the original System Shock was so. It just blew me away, right? It's like. It was. It was so much like asymmetric warfare, right? Like Shodan, she couldn't really do anything on her own. She had to sort of be the puppet master. You know, it's like playing chess and you are one of the pieces. Like someone else is moving the pieces around, but you have to deal with it. Like you have to react. And it was really interesting because you started off and you were super weak. And at the same time, Shodan was over she was underestimating you, right? She was overconfident. And then as your arsenal grew and your abilities grew, she began to increase her threat assessment of you and escalate in turn, right? So uh, it was neat. It was like an arms race kind of. System Shock 2, I didn't really get that feel. And in this new one, I didn't get that feel either. Now, I don't know the development history of this remake. I know it was kind of troubled, right? I know they restarted it from scratch a couple of times. Because I think originally it was supposed to be System Shock 3, and then it was going to be a reboot or reimagining or something like that. Or maybe it was a remake because they released the demo and it looked like the first thing, and then people liked it, and then they changed it, and people complained, so they changed it back or something. There was a bunch of different versions. Don't know. By the way, this was released in 2023. It is $40. Now, to be fair, let's talk about the positives first, because I'm going to talk about the negatives. Hopefully, not for too long, because I don't want this video to be super long. But the price point is good. $40 is a good price. I would almost say $60 might be fine as well, because I put about 60 hours into it. But $40 is a good price, I think. You know, it really depends on how much mileage you want to get out of it. You know, it's a remake. It's sort of a it's almost like an HD remaster if you want to be that petty or specific. You know, it's almost exactly System Shock 1, but it's not. It is not, and that's where a lot of my gripes come from. Excuse me. It feels like it was developed by people that either didn't understand the differences between 1 and 2, that they're effectively different genres, or just that they like the second one better. They're like, oh man, System Shock 1, I mean, it's okay, but System Shock 2 was way better. So System Shock 1 would be way better if it was more like 2. And that's not. It's not. So to start off, you're going to see a lot of complaints talking about the inventory system. And that is a huge problem, right? Because instead of, like I mentioned in the original, you basically started acquiring this arsenal and you became more and more dangerous as you got more and more stuff and more abilities, right? The first one, immersive sim, but almost a Metroidvania, right? This is more like a shooter. You know, you have 60 inventory spots, and you can get those extended by finding 2 inventory upgrade items, and they only add an extra 6 slots each for a total of, I think, 72, right? Problem is the smallest weapon takes 4, and larger weapons take 8 or 10, right? The more powerful weapons take 8 or 10 each. You know, so there's no way you can have a full arsenal, especially since you're carrying around all the health items, you're carrying around all the explosives, grenades and stuff, you're carrying around ammo. You know, you can get weapon mods, which will make your earlier weapons stronger, but also makes them bigger. So it's like, that's also a drawback. They really wanted this game to bring inventory management into it and tension from that, but it really slows the game down. Like the original, I would say, is actually faster paced because you don't have to worry about all this stuff. You just, like, I personally was looking for everything, but I didn't have to worry about, oh, do I have enough space for things? Also, they make the junk in this game. In the original, there was junk all over the place, and that was like, it was window dressing, right? It was decoration. It helped with the immersion. Here, they gave all that junk a monetary value. So you can use credits to buy mods. That's the big thing. You can also buy health and ammo and other stuff. But you're going to be, at least for me, I wanted to pick up all the junk because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to need this for. You know, it's like, oh, you can actually buy stuff. Oh, great. Now I have to collect all this stuff because I don't know how much I'm going to need. And yeah, so that's a big negative for me. It really slows things down. The respawning rate of enemies is crazy at first, but it seems to be tied to the security level, which I think it was in the original as well. But even in the original, they never completely got rid of the enemies because you could use them to, you know, if you needed more supplies or ammo or health kits or whatever, there was always enemies spawning, you know. Here, they just stop spawning. And then at the end of the game, you don't get access to the rest of the station anymore. And so it's like, I hope you have enough stuff at that point. I've seen reviews and discussions and stuff from people that are like, how do I turn down the difficulty? Because it's, you know, I'm out of ammo, I'm out of health, and it's, you know, it's too hard. And by the way, there is no in-game version to turn down or change the difficulty. If it's too easy, it's going to be too easy. If it's too hard, it's too hard. You have to restart the whole game. Additionally, if you have a gamepad hooked up, like I do, you have to unplug it because there's no way to disable it and there's no way to turn off the vibration. So every time you shoot or an explosion goes off, your thing goes on the desk. Graphics, I would not call those a positive. To be fair, it looks nice. It does look nicer. But it's all the lighting makes everything kind of the same. I don't know what you call it. The same light level. Everything feels dim but it's never too bright, and it's also never too dark. It's always kind of just dim. And so it loses a lot of that mood. Like certain areas in the original were completely black, you know. And even in here, there's a flashlight upgrade, and then that turns into a night vision thing, and it's basically useless. And even if it wasn't, because enemies are hard to see, because everything's kind of indistinct, and you see something in the distance, you're like, is that an enemy or is that something else? You have to wait to get shot, basically. Even the stuff that's supposed to change the light, you know, there's like a patch that makes your eyesight better in the dark. All it does is turn everything teal. It's like night vision, but in a different color. And then same with your upgrade, that turns everything green. It's like, but I do kind of like that enemies are a little bit harder to see. It's frustrating at times, but you know, it sort of adds to the suspense a little bit. But it also makes items really hard to see, including the audio logs, which are blue and have a yellow flashing light on them. I missed them before. I walked right past them. You know, there's one that has a code for an armory, and I'm like, where the hell is it? It's like, I just remember, it's like, I know I found it. And in fact, I ended up restarting to change some of the difficulty settings. But on my first try, I was like, I got it. Where is it? I had to look it up because I walked right past it. I couldn't see it. And it's bad when something with a yellow flashing light is hard to see, but there you go. I would say cyberspace is improved. Still kind of sucks. The puzzles are better. They still kind of suck. Just talk about how shoddy it is. I was like, how do you solve the puzzles? What's my goal? And then I looked online and people were talking about it. They're like, oh, it's in the manual. I'm like, what manual? There's no manual. Steam offers a manual. GOG does not. There was a recent update as like a day or two ago. Now there's a manual included in the GOG version. It used to be part of some goodie pack that you could download separately that was then removed. So it's just like, you know, all these little weird things. It's like, that's a simple thing. What's going on? You know? Other big issues, maybe they're not so big. Something I haven't heard of anyone else say, I haven't looked through negative reviews. The message is in this. You know, the message. Yeah. Towards the end of the game, you find a couple audio logs that weren't in the original. One's talking about, it's from a dude asking another dude out for dinner. And then another one is a girl talking about how some other girl broke up with her. It's like, why? So I consider that a negative because it's forced. It doesn't need to be forced in there. And especially given the current, you know, how divisive everything is with identity politics and stuff, don't put that crap in here. Just don't even touch it. They changed the ending. The ending's totally different. If you played the original and you thought that was bad, which it was, I was hoping they'd redo it to make it better. What they did was basically say, hey, let's make it like System Shock 2's ending, but worse. So, yeah. Trying to think of other stuff. I don't know. It felt like there were less enemies overall too. I put on the hardest. They kept the combat, or they kept the multiple difficulties from the original, as in like you could set the difficulty for combat, you could set the difficulty for puzzles, you know, separate things. So me personally, I hated the puzzles. I put them all the way at the easiest. Same thing with the cyberspace. That was all the way at the easiest. Combat, I was like, put it on the hardest. There were less enemies, but they hit like a freaking truck. I'd get killed. I wouldn't even know by what at times. What your preference is on that, that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. It got really frustrating after a while, especially considering all the animations and cutscenes are unskippable. So every time you died and it shows like this, what, the DOS prompt or whatever, and it reloads. Even at the end of the game where you don't respawn, it just goes to a load screen or whatever. It plays like the 30-second "you died" cutscene, right? And all these little cutscenes, like you trying to reload your gun. I mean, that's fine. You using the first aid kit, you have to hold it open it, grab the little syringe, test it real fast, turn it around, inject yourself. You have to pull out the patch, you have to flip the little compact open, grab the little patch, stick it on yourself, click it closed. Yeah! That he does like a fist pump or something too. It's just right in the middle of combat, it's kind of frustrating. I'm like, just do it. Don't show me all the hand movements. Just frickin' do it. Talk about the visuals again real fast, if I could complain a little bit more. They really like messing with your vision. They love it. So you get a shield, your highest level shield upgrade, and whenever you're in a firefight with somebody, if you're getting shot, you see the shield, deflect the thing, and it becomes this big orange circle right in your field of vision. So it'll be like zip, 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 and you're like, I'm shooting the dude. Where is he? Because I can't see. All I can see is the orange circle. Or when you're low on health, the whole screen looks like it's scrambled. And I'm like, wait, am I... Okay, it's like you have to... All the text is really small, so it's like I'm clicking on the medkit, I'm clicking use, and I'm like, am I on the right thing? Am I on use or am I on drop? And then the scatter effect doesn't help with my mouse, which is like a little dot. I'm like, where is it? I have to move it around, and oh, there it is. Okay. So it's not good. They do it in cyberspace a lot too. Like you're in cyberspace and there's particles going everywhere, and they're like, look at how fancy this is. Look at all these particles. Meh. It's frustrating. You're getting shot and you're trying to shoot back. You're like, where's the enemy? If you ever played EDF and you're getting bombarded by all the enemies and all you just see is enemy bullets, that's what it looks like a lot of the time. It's, the little things explode, right? Those little things that run at you and explode. If there's a few of them, the first one will explode and debris will be all over the place. And it'll like burrow, it'll be driving forward, but debris will cover it, so you can't shoot it because you're shooting the wreckage from the previous thing. So it explodes and kills you. And you're like, okay, I guess. It's just... It feels like 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. And so you're at the same place, but then they do the inventory stuff, and then they change the ending, and then they add a little message things in there, the identity politic thing. I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to put anything about, Black Lives Matter or frickin' Orange Man bad or defund the police or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, at least they didn't do that. I mean, that's a small thing, I suppose. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those... It's one of those things. I started off enjoying it. And then more and more, I'm like, I'm so done. I'm just ready for this thing to be over. It just feels really tedious. And I'm glad it's done. I don't want to ever play it again. I want to play the original, actually. But, yeah, it's... I really... As someone that really liked the original, because it felt so unique, it felt completely fresh. You know, the second one was fine, but it's like I've played Bioshock before, and that's what the second one felt like. The first one felt like something that I had never played before. You know, and so for them to basically take that and be like, System Shock 2 was better, let's make it more like that, and not focus on some of the other things. Like they could have, I mean, like I said, I didn't really care for the cyberspace, but I was really hoping they fixed the final boss battle. You know, and instead, yeah, just not good. It's fine. It's fine. If you've played the original, I don't know. If you liked the original but did not like System Shock 2, I would say definitely don't play this. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt... meh, you know? So, I guess that's it. I guess that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoy other videos. Hopefully this isn't too long. I kind of ranted for a bit, but it's, you know, I just finished it like an hour ago. And I don't know if I could tell you how disappointed I was, especially by the ending. You know? And the fact that I feel like they really could have... man. You know, they could have taken the weak areas and improved them. Unfortunately, I think what they thought were the weak areas about the first one was that it wasn't like System Shock 2, and that's a problem. So, I don't know. Puzzles were better, but not great. Cyberspace was better, but not great. You know, I mean, the best things about it were the things that came from the original, which is really sad. So, I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, that's, like I said, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.